Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Turin here with another Warhammer Total War online commentary. In this particular battle, I'm going to be playing the Warriors of Chaos led by Prince Sigvald. So you know what that means? That means I am indeed playing against the Wood Elves. So I know this build I'm using might get a little bit boring because I've showed it for the past few games, but I wanted to show it to you guys this game in particular because I did mix it up a little bit. In the previous builds, I wasn't using Inspiring Champion, so that's one minor change. But more importantly, my opponent's build is very different than kind of what you've been seeing. So he's kind of playing a build that I like to play, which is more of a Death Star kind of tree type build. So you can see he has a front line of Eternal Guards with Treekin, and then the Wildwood Rangers for the armor piercing and anti-large in the back. I really like this build. So it's very different than the traditional Wood Elves builds because, you know, again, when I use the Forsaken, I'm able to circumvent the flanks and really pressure that back line. But here, there's not going to be as many good targets for the Forsaken as these guys have high melee defense. These guys are obviously going to be very good against Forsaken with their armor and kind of defensive stats. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out, and hopefully you guys enjoy this one. But as far as my army goes, Chaos Warriors in the front line, armored shielded, can absorb missile fire, which won't be that pertinent here, but even still, they're pretty elite infantry, and they'll be able to hold up pretty well against the Eternal Guards in just raw combat. These guys do have some buffs right now from their leadership, so they're going to be okay, but still the Chaos Warriors, I think, slightly outclass them. Let's go ahead and take a look here. So they have about 1,000 less HP as far as their melee attack. So theirs is buffed right now. It's at 35, so the buffed melee attack of my guys is 35 as well, but 45 melee defense over here to 44. 24 weapon strength on those guys to 36. So that weapon strength is definitely a big factor in conjunction with the extra HP. Aside from that, Aspiring Champs, I got the Trolls in the back to focus Durthu. I really like them. The regeneration's nice, though they are weak to fire. So, you know, the Glade Guards with the fire shafts can really punish these guys. One of you guys actually pointed it out in the comments, but I actually haven't really suffered from that yet. I do have Sigvald with the Auric Armor for regeneration. Very good. He can take a beating from Durthu, but more importantly, he's very cheap. And on top of that, you know, that cheapness of him allows you to kind of open up a lot of other options with your army. In the back, I got 3 groups of Forsaken. Normally, I bring 4 in this matchup, but I brought, 3 this time because I decided to get a group of Aspiring Champions here. And then 2 Manticores, of course, are so good. It's just like a Manticore can essentially shut down an entire unit of Glade Guard, cause terror, just a great all-around unit in this matchup. As far as my opponent's forces, front line of Eternal Guards with the shields, probably for the higher melee defense. He's got the Treekin in there. He's got a group of Dryads. He's got Durthu. And let's see what abilities Durthu has. It looks like he has the Sword of Death, but he doesn't have any of the Lore of Beast magic, so he must be using a Waystalker, and he's got a Branch Wraith here, who has the healing, and it looks like the Shield of Thorns, and kind of one AoE spell. Then in the back, he's got the Wildwood Rangers. I actually like these guys in the Chaos matchup. They do pretty well. Heavy-duty armor piercing with 45 weapon damage, really high leadership, and that's something about the Wood Elf units. They all have really high leadership. The Eternal Guards, like, right now are at 94, which is pretty absurd. So it's very hard to crack them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started and see how this Death Star matchup goes. So immediately, I'm just going to path my Chaos Warriors in, and I'm kind of just posturing up my Trolls. I'm just trying to see what he's doing, and he kind of did an interesting formation here. I wasn't sure if this was intentional or if he was just messing with me or what it was, but he actually like splits here, and I don't know if that was to get a certain type of spread or something, or if it was a mistake. But anyways, his Eternal Guards are going to charge in here and get a march. And interestingly enough, that formation allows his troops to saturate with the Dryads. It was kind of, I don't know if that was some fancy footwork or just a mistake, but you guys will have to let me know in the comments below if you've seen that before. So the Trolls are able to get in there, and this is the best situation for the Trolls. They're fighting Durthu, and they're fighting Treekin, which is exactly what you want. Armor piercing, just on those heavily armored targets. So the Forsaken don't have any missile troops in the back line, as you can see, but still, you know, they're going to really cut these Wildwood Rangers to shreds because they only have 40 armor, so they're going to get in the back line. And you can see when they get in there, Forsaken have a really high charge bonus and high combat stats, but you can see they're getting knocked around a little bit by the Treekin. So again, I really like the Treekin in the Chaos matchup. They're just so sturdy against the Chaos Infantry, and if you want to bring, you know, you essentially have to bring either Trolls or, you know, Chaos Warriors. Halberds are great weapons to deal with them. And even still against those units, these guys are just so resilient with their physical resistance. So I am back here. I do have a Chaos Horse with the Lore of Fire, so I do use the Flaming Sword of Ruin, or I did. And I also use the Piercing Bolts Overloaded. Look at the damage it does. It just absolutely tore this whole group to shreds. Took these Dryads down. These Eternal Guards essentially got broken and melted. And it also did substantial damage to these Treekin here. And I don't know if it really hit Durthu. I don't think it did, but it did enough to kind of break these Dryads in this back line here. The Forsaken will also do well against the Dryads, because Dryads only have 40 armor, so it should be a good situation for me. Over here, it's just another Death Star battle. You can see I just kind of have Forsaken everywhere right now. I was able to run around his flanks with all 3. And the Manticores are doing a really good job just hunting this Waystalker. I literally just sicked these 2 Manticores on it, and they just routed him instantly and essentially just took him off the battlefield. So next, they'll probably be going after that Branch Wraith, which I probably should have done first. If any criticisms of my play, it would have been going after that Branch Wraith first. So you can see I do break him and realize, you know, this guy he's just perpetually healing them. He's casting Earth Flood. That's the biggest value of this Death Star build. So one lesson I learned from this game was to make sure to target that branch rate first. That would have made a big difference in the battle. You can see over here, Durthu, he does cause fear and terror, so he is actually routing off these trolls. He was able to lay an absolute pimp smacking on Prince Sigvald. So Sigvald's running, he's regenerating, and the trolls also are regenerating. So it's very, very good. And even though it might look grim in the center, you can see all my troops are routing off. These Chaos Warriors are wavering. Durthu and the boys are coming in. You still have these two Manticores who are in here, and they're doing a really good job kind of pressuring, and you can see these Treekin are actually routing with the onslaught of the Manticores, who just got a nice 1-2 punch on that branch right there, and it's now shaken. It's a very, very good situation for me. So this is a very close battle, I would say. You know, again, with the missile builds, the Forsaken spam is very strong, but here it's not quite as good. I was able to get a nice little rear charge over here, but you can see the Forsaken are kind of getting worn down. My opponent has very nice saturation, so you can see the trees are kind of intermixed with the infantry here. So a lot of my Forsaken are just kind of, you know, clubbing on these Treekin and not getting the most done. So definitely not the best use of Forsaken, but I didn't have much of a choice here. But they still did pretty well for me, I would say. You can see Durthu's here. The trolls actually regenerate a little bit. They got their leadership together. They were able to come back. Let's go ahead and watch for a second. You can see they clubbed Durthu pretty hard. They just did about 200 or 300 HP damage on him and are really, really putting in some work. So I do like trolls, despite the fact that they are vulnerable to missile fire. I feel like in this build that I'm using as Chaos against the Wood Elves, that even if they do have those kind of flame missile troops, they're still going to be able to, you know, survive due to the fact that you have the Manticores and the Forsaken pressuring that backline so hard. They're going to have to allocate so many resources to defending their back line. They're going to be struggling to micro against the Manticores that you can get away with the trolls, especially if they're kind of, you know, underneath Durthu, because Durthu will then take friendly fire from the missile troops. So just my 2 cents, guys, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below on that. Over here, he still does have some Treekin fighting, but still the Chaos Warriors are very resilient. They're continuing to fight, and with the Flaming Sword of Rune that they've been getting all game, that extra fire damage definitely helped out a lot. So you can see these guys are shaken. Over here, he still has a very healthy pocket, so this is probably his strongest bit of resistance here. You can see these Eternal Guards and these Treekin were able to actually punish and push back my Aspiring Champs, and we're able to clean up a lot of my Chaos Warriors that you can see are now on the ground here. So over here, this is kind of the essential battle right here, but unfortunately Durthu did get really, really low. The Branch Wraith and the Waystalker were both taken out by those Manticores. So that was a big blow to my opponent, essentially. And a lot of my troops are now coming back from this battle over here, having won that, and are doing pretty good at just closing in here. And let's go ahead and see if we can find Prince Sigvald. Is he back in the battle? I think he, like, scurried off into the Shadow Realm or something. I know at some point in the game, Sigvald... Oh, there he is. Oh, I wish I could have shown you guys. So Sigvald actually ran all the way over here, and he slayed this Waystalker. He literally chased him all the way across the plains and just took him out. So he just finished his job. And is he wearing like assless chaps? That's kind of what it looks like. But yeah, that was I remember playing that game, and I wanted to show you guys that. I was so excited. I was like, oh, Sigvald literally chases this Waystalker all the way across the map and slays him in a duel. It was such a cool situation because he was so low too, but he was regenerating. So. But anyways, at that point, the rest of the Chaos Warriors in pretty good shape. You can see the Trolls were regenerating. I had some Forsaken and Chaos Warriors, and also the Aspiring Champs here were pretty big. A lot of my troops were steady at this point in this very close battle, essentially. And, you know, having that encouragement in the late game is very good. So, very well played to my opponent there. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing that that Chaos matchup versus a bit of a different Wood Elves build. I thought it was a lot of fun. So, still the Forsaken, 70 kills, 36, 32, not terrible. The Trolls obviously didn't get many kills because they were on Durthu the entire time, but still... you know, I wish you could see the damage done. I know some of you guys have mentioned that in the comments. It'd be really nice if we could see just a damage spread of like, you know, damage output, just raw. I think that'd be a very useful stat in terms of army building and kind of analytics. The Manticores, just MVPs. They shut down that Waystalker. They shut down that Branch Wraith. It would have been probably nice if he had kept some Eternal Guards, or maybe cut the Dryads and just get like, you know, the cheap Eternal Guards with spears and just use them to fend off the Manticores. They do so well there. I think that would have made all the difference. Or even if he had kept a group of Wildwood Rangers back to protect the Waystalker and the Branch Wraith, that would have been huge. So that's just my 2 cents. But Sigvald, obviously a pimp, doing his thing, and you know, it was a fun game. So good game to my opponent, EAZ, easy. I'm not sure what that is, but look forward to seeing you again on ladder, and hope you guys enjoyed that Chaos cast. Have an excellent night and take care.